leading now by 7 points. Bronco quarterback LeClaire hit number 44, Floyd Little, with a short pass, and Little did the rest. After this 16-yard pickup, LeClaire threw a 5-yard strike to Eric Crabtree, who was open in the end zone. With the score now tied 10-10, the Bengals took over. Stopa hit number 18, Paul Robinson, with a 10-yard screen. Then the turning point came. Tom Smiley picked up a dramatic first down on 4th and inches from the Bronco 46. On the next play, Warren McVay was the only receiver downfield, but he was all Stopa needed. The 54-yard bomb made it 17-10, and the Bengals were ahead to stay. Denver's last effort came to an embarrassing halt when LeClaire lost control of the ball, attempting to pass. Johnson from Grambling burst up the middle for a 34-yard touchdown and a final score of 24-10. In winning this game, the Bengals set an expansion team record and even it slated one loss and one very impressive win.
Okay, let's talk about the 1970 Bengals. I gotta leave at 2:15. I'm so sorry. I gotta drive all the way to Middleburg Heights up in Cleveland for a 7 o'clock program. So I'm so sorry. This is so stilted. But we talked about that 1970 team that really shocked the world. That were really not anticipated to really go anywhere, and especially to beat out a really strong Browns team. But they did. And here is. I believe this is the clincher. This is the one that got him into the playoffs.
Last Sunday, Cincinnatians turned out in record numbers to share some football history with the third-year Bengals. Behind their Cinderella quarterback Virgil Carter, number 11, the Bengals had only to beat Boston to be the youngest team ever to win a divisional title. The Bengals seemed headed for disaster in the first quarter when Carter was knocked senseless. But Carter came back moments later to throw a touchdown pass to Chip Myers, number 25.
No.
Ironically, Carter was stretched out again on the play, but this time he would not return to the game. He was replaced by Sam Weiss, number 14. He's not playing time lately, but you'd never know it the way he performed as Carter's magic remained in the game with him. The Bengals thoroughly routed Boston. The whole Bengal phenomenon almost defies analysis, but Paul Robinson, number 18, in regaining the form of his rookie year, certainly hasn't done them any harm. In this game, he scored 3 touchdowns, and to become the complete ball player, all he has to do is become a little more enthusiastic. But in fact, the Bengals are winning on enthusiasm. Well, they are a team without stars, except for Speedy Thomas, number 17. And all he likes to do is communicate with them. With defensive tackle Mike Reed, number 74, back from an injury, the Bengal defense has achieved a cohesion it lacked during the early season troubles. The Bengals left the Patriots battered and stunned until the waning moments. Carter, Weiss, Robinson, Reed, they were all carrying Coach Paul Brown off the field as well they should. For he brought them back from a 6-game losing streak to overtake favorite Cleveland and record a smashing 45-7 clincher for the AFC Central.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They had a 6-game losing streak in that season and still made the playoffs. And I believe, if I read correctly, that's the only time in the history of pro football where a team has lost 6 in a row and still made the playoffs. Okay. Let's talk about Kenny Anderson, your guy there. And here's just some career highlights from Kenny Anderson. Kenny Anderson had a big arm. He could throw the deep ball very, very well. But what made him special also was he had good touch too on the ball, and he was able to. What I remember about him really distinctly was he was able to hit those short passes and lead the receivers very, very well. Because if you're throwing short passes, you have to hit these guys in stride so they can get extra yards after the play. And he was really a master at that. He was a very accurate quarterback. And this was when most quarterbacks were just 50, 55, maybe 55%, if they were lucky, 60% tops at completion percentage. But Kenny Anderson had a very, very high completion percentage.
The new quarterback coming in for the Bengals gets a standing ovation. And listen to the roar from the crowd. And a perfect strike to Isaac Curtis. The NFL passing champion this year. All pro performer. And in the of the league, his first attempt, and he has a man. Anderson to throw.
Crisp pass and a fine catch. Anderson able to spot the open receiver.
Anderson going to throw. Touchdown! Anderson's on fire. And he wants to throw. Here's an aerial survey. Collinsworth. He's got it. Active arms and an uncanny mind to pick up blitzers. He was impossible to throw the blitz. Held down as one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever played.
Okay. Chris Collinsworth, let's, I can't play all these videos now, I'm afraid, but what I can do is show you this particular video. And this was the 1981, they call it the Freezer Bowl. It was one of the coldest games in the history of football. In fact, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 below wind chill against the San Diego Chargers, which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to show you 2 clips of that one. Here was some of that particular game in '81 that they ended up going to the Super Bowl.
I experienced
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage.
the last kingdom and the power and the glory.
This is not the eerie opening scene of the Dracula movie set in the misty swamps of Transylvania. This is the Ohio River on the afternoon of Sunday, January the 10th. Riverfront Stadium, 20 miles per hour winds gusting up to 50. It is the AFC Championship game. The wind chill factor is minus 60 degrees. Apocalypse now. It is bitter cold. It is inhuman. It is the site of the most frigid football game ever played in the history of the National Football League. The Cincinnati Bengals are one of the frozen armies who earned the right to play in this hell. They won their division, defeated the Bills in the divisional playoff. Now they stand on their home ice, one step away from Super Bowl 16. Quarterback Ken Anderson, the AFC's top-rated passer, is finishing up a super season. And after 11 years, this is undoubtedly the most important game in which he's ever played. It is Kenny's rifle arm and cool attitude that got the Bengals here. But if you were to ask the Cincinnati squad who got them to this AFC Championship showdown, all 45 would say that Forrest Gregg, their head coach, was the disciplined architect of their success. Indeed, Gray took a band of #1 draft choices and fashioned them into a #1 team. But
Okay, now here's a little video that actually shows some action from that particular game to review.
the yards were tough on the ground, so Anderson went to the air, and it proved a wise choice as he spotted Don Bass for the catch of the day. It was the second big play of the afternoon for Bass, who had earlier set up a score with a fumble recovery. Ironically, it was his first pass reception of the year. In the Bengals' way of thinking, it could not have come at a better time. This was the clincher, and everyone in the place knew it. Only 7 minutes remained, and the Chargers trailed by 20. In windy and cold weather like this, San Diego would need a miracle to pull this one out. And on this day, miracles were in short supply. The outcome seemed apparent, but the Chargers continued to battle. Bounce started off their final drive of the season with a completion to Wes Chandler. Chandler snagged this one, but then found the coverage a bit tougher to beat when he ventured forth into the Bengal end zone. Still, San Diego was close to a score, but that was endangered when Chuck Muncie capped off a run with yet another fumble. San Diego's Doug Wilkerson recovered, giving the Chargers one last chance for a base-saving score. Bounce went to number 85, Eric Sievers, but in trying to walk the tightrope, Sievers lost his grip on the ball. Bounce then turned to a play that had worked for a touchdown the previous week in the game against Miami. But apparently the Bengals had studied the game films closely. No one was fooled by the quick toss to rookie James Brooks. The Bengals held and regained possession. San Diego would not control the ball anymore. From there, it was just a few ticks of the clock until the Bengals could officially celebrate their first ever conference championship. For the fans, the quarterback set it up. The Cincinnati Bengals, the team with the AFC's best record, it proved that they were no fool by grounding Air Coryell 27-7.
I can see why he had his face hidden. Because he didn't want anyone to know what an idiot he was. That was crazy. Actually, the Bengals have been to 3 Super Bowls now, and they haven't won one, but
Show us, Boomer.
yeah, no, I have. I'm going to show this particular video here. I'm so sorry I got to go through these so quickly, but
Pictures.
yeah, I don't even remember which one this is. Is this the one with? Oh, okay. Now there was no, nobody really. Guys that scored touchdowns were throwing the football down on the ground and everything, and spiking the ball, which was the thing back then. But the first one to do the dance was a guy named Icky Woods of the Cincinnati Bengals, who did the Icky Shuffle. Really, he was only featured back for the Bengals, and I believe he had a 1,000-yard season, one of them. But
Iggy's still around too, buddy. In Cincinnati.
yeah, and here's some highlights of a game against the Cincinnati Bengals, or against the Buffalo Bills, where he was really breaking out that Icky Shuffle. Okay, and that really kind of set the path forward to the celebrations that you see today. They've got a little bit more elaborate as time has gone on, but the Icky Shuffle was the first one, and you know, now I think they've gotten a little bit too much. In fact, you'll actually see a lot of real prominent players now just toss the ball to the referee. It's kind of, I don't know if it's fading away, all the celebrations, but there was a Jim Brown, who the great, one of the greatest football players ever, once said, when this stuff was going on, when this stuff was starting, he said, act like you've been in the end zone before. And that's what he did. That's what he always did. Okay, let's do a little bit of a video about the Bengals winning the championship last year, the AFC championship. This is a little bit about when they won the AFC North. Now, the NFL Films has prevented everybody from actually downloading videos from the last 15 or 20 years, game film. So you have to try to find something that is appropriate. And I found this particular video from when they won the AFC North. They clinched the AFC North championship.
Here's to come. The Kansas City Chiefs have a 14-0 first quarter lead. Burrow pitches a shotgun snap, comes back 3 steps, throws to the line of 40, and is caught. Chase running in the middle of the field, breaking away to the 40, the Chiefs 30, the Chiefs 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown! Bengals, 72 yards, and the Bengals are right back in it. What a cut, and what speed he unleashed.
You can't coach that. It's just Jamar Chase being Jamar Chase, and it really did catapult us.
72 yards, 60 yards after catch.
Williams gets a late push from behind, and he's into the end zone.
That was a quick answer.
Kansas City Chiefs are back on top by 2 touchdowns, 21-7. Burrow throwing it toward the end zone. Chase beats his man on the back shoulder throw. Touchdown!
One-on-one with Jamar. No power to you. Good luck.
It's 21-14.
That's a great throw by Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase adjusted the football before it could not.
46-yard field goal try to snap the foot down the swing of the right leg, and it is beautiful. Halftime in the jungle. Kansas City 28, Cincinnati 17.
Both offenses are performing at a high efficiency. They're Chiefs at a ridiculously high efficiency. You have the minimum amount of drives left. You almost have to score in every single one of them.
That's kind of our message at halftime is keep putting the pressure on offense, scoring points, and let our defense kind of get settled down a little bit, and that's what we did.
500 yards of offense in that first half combined by the 2 teams. Burrow back to throw. Good protection. Fires it down the sideline. Chase wide open. Sprinting downfield. The 10. Touchdown. Bengals. 69 yards. Bengals force a punt for just the second time today.
That kind of lit a fire underneath us watching that offensive side of the ball do what they do.
Bengals are 5 yards away from taking the lead. Tyler Boyd. Touchdown. Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals down 14-0, down 28-14. Goal 31-28. Then Kansas City marches down. It's the 34-yard tying field goal by Butker. And the Bengals are driving to take the AFC North.
Back to throw. He's fired down the sideline. Chase goes up and over his defender, makes the catch for another huge gain.
They're a good defense. They made it hard on us to get it.
Chris Jones on top of him, along with Ingram.
Third and 27.
Jamar's down there somewhere. I'm going to just throw it up to him. He's going to make a play.
Chase has got it. New single-game Bengals record, 266 receiving yards.
I think he ended up with more yards than Mahomes had passing.
Did I? Oh, sorry. Excuse my offending.
Converting on a third and 27.
I want to end it right now and not go into overtime with Patrick Mahomes.
Two sneaks by Burrow and a run by Mixon have not produced a touchdown. The ball is inches away from the goal line. Looks like the Bengals are going to go for it. Wow. Here they go. They go for it. Fourth and goal. Burrow. Look at Ingram. Got hit. Throws it. Flying in the end zone.
That would be first and goal inside the one. Then you can run more clock.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense.
Roll the dice works out in a most unusual fashion.
It didn't work out exactly the way we thought it would, but it did end up working out for us.
Burrow might have been hurt here. He hobbled to the sideline. He's out of the game.
Brandon Allen is going to check in at quarterback.
I would take a knee here. You take it down to 3 seconds. You spike the ball. Sit back if you're bleeding.
Kick is on its way. It is good! The Cincinnati Bengals clinch the AFC North and prove they can beat anybody.
Okay. Yeah, that was really special. What special season that was. And you know what makes it great? I always thought what makes it great, the best wide receivers and running backs is not just speed or power. It's the ability to cut and that elusiveness. And you saw that when the first touchdown that Jamar Chase scored, he caught the ball, and you have no idea how hard it is to go run full tilt and then cut sideways to try to avoid someone. That's what Jamar Chase did. He was absolutely amazing. And very, very few players in NFL history can do that. You had a guy like Gale Sayers, you might remember him from the Bears back in the 60s. Barry Sanders could do that, but very few players could do that. And I saw that cut that Jamar Chase made on that first touchdown. I was like, yeah, this guy's special. This guy's special. Anyway, I'm going to open it up again to any questions or comments. Oh my God, I got to go. I'm so sorry. Anyone have any quick questions? I apologize for this, but I got to get to Middleburg Heights. And I got to go home first because I forgot my charger. And so I'm almost out of juice on I forgot my plug-in for this. It's been that kind of day. So I apologize for all that inconvenience.
I'm going to make this real quick, and
Yeah.
it's not even about football. In your ranking books, you said you did sitcoms.
Yes.
What was the number one sitcom?
I'll tell you what. While I wrap this up, I'm gonna let you guys guess what I ranked as. There were 4 sitcoms that I considered as number 1, and it was a very, very difficult choice. But it's a little bit more of a modern sitcom compared to some of the other ones. I decided it was number 1. No, All the Family was number 2.
I was thinking.
I ranked All the Family number 2.
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld, yes.
Oh,
I have Seinfeld number 1. I have All the Family number 2. I have MASH number 3. And I have I Love Lucy number 4.
Depends on who's doing it.
And second place.
Seinfeld.
Well, yeah.